What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Kronos. His name is Ulysses. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Isis. His name is Joe. It's currently 1-0 in this best of 9 finals for the $1,000 competitive mega random tournament. The first tournament of its kind. I don't believe this tournament has been done anywhere else because there's no other competitive mega random maps. They're all not inherently uncompetitive in terms of what I've seen at the very least. Anyways, onwards and upwards. We'll see how this game is going to be rounding out. A little bit of a different matchup right now. Ulysses does have Kronos. Kronos does have doesn't need to be played in a different manner to get wins than Uranus. A lot of players try and play Kronos the same way as Uranus and therefore believe Kronos to be weak. But when it comes down to it, Kronos is not weak. Kronos is strong. And Joe does see something very, very spicy here. Joe sees the forward gold mine. And sometimes this can mean for an Egyptian player that forward gold mine means I'm going to send my priest, my pharaoh forward really, really early and try and get some early game damage done onto your gold mine and try and finish the game very, very quickly. So we'll see if that's what's going to happen here for Joe. Joe's already got villages on gold. Those just started there. He's eating his aurochs over here as well. And there's plenty of aurochs in the base. So it should be a fairly clean game here, a clean early game for Joe to hit a very, very aggressive kind of classical age and see what's going to happen here as the pharaoh going to jump through the town center here. The village is going to finish off that auroch. The pharaoh comes over onto the granary and all is well in the world. Relics have been uncovered, so let's check them out. We do have the Pandora's box here. This is the reduction in myth unit training time by 25%. Then there is also the blanket of Empress Zoe in the back corner here, which is the extra 5% or the reduction in building crush vulnerability. If that makes sense to you, you let me know. I'm fairly sure I've got somewhat of an understanding here, but it's just, I guess it's the most accurate way to describe this relic, but a reduction in damage taken from siege weapons is another way to phrase that there. That just means that the prestige of Joe, if that's what he wants to go for here, is going to be slightly weaker. Now, because we're not seeing Uranus, it's Kronos. I don't believe that you actually have to be devoted to one town center, ancestors, eclipse timings here. So you do see a cheeky granary box getting set up here. Very, very cheeky as he's going to be trying to take down that oracle there very, very successfully. The only way out for this oracle is to manually heroize him and then target back the villager, and then the villager would just delete the granary, walk away, and then say, lol, you spent resources on a silly unit there. Villagers now moving out into the front of the map. There's some giraffe here. There's really not a lot of food. Oh, I tell a lie. There's a ton of food over here. So this might be a perfect map for Joe to go Anubis, send his pharaoh priest forward, though the temple is very late, and get this town center up. Let's see what Joe's actually scouted, though. He has scouted just 2 water buffaloes, so he doesn't realize how good this town center is and how good some sort of like semi-classic fight Isis could be here. 2 town center classic fight Isis could be here. So he's going to be going for 1 town center, it seems. And Ulysses, on the other hand, looks like he's going to be grabbing a town center in the Archaic Age. And look at this. Joe is sneaking around with his priest, and he will he is 100% going to spot this town center. The obelisk going up. The villager does see this one, and maybe abandoning this might be the way to go here, because if I was Joe and I saw this town center going up, I would be pulling villagers almost immediately to start harassing this and preventing it from going up. Would be a really, really strong way to play this one. You could send 4 villagers forward at this point. Anubis coming through, villagers coming over onto this gold mine, as that kind of indicates either the wait. I don't know what this is. Fast town center makes some sense. Like a delayed town center with the prosperity here makes some sense, but maybe some priests coming out. Early prosperity for Joe. As a reaction to this town center, 2 villages on the town center normally means it's probably going to go up. A third citizen going to be making his way over here. There's an obelisk on this position to check out this gold mine. There's citizen coming over here as well, and this is something popularized a little bit, I think, by Kavoth in recent games. Is that citizens, they don't need to be on this home gold mine. You don't lose out a whole lot by moving on to this gold mine. In fact, you basically gain a whole lot more by having a lot of citizens on multiple different gold mines throughout the game, because it means that raiding is a lot harder and getting gold stars is nigh impossible here, as Joe's gold has gone through the roof and his villagers are going to be making their way over to grab this town center for sure, as this priest looks to try and take down this citizen. The town center is up over here. We do see Plague of Serpents getting dropped onto this position, but there's already a citizen over on this gold mine. So in reality here, Ulysses not going to care all too much, and he's just going to make the slow passage over to this location here. But the question is, does Ulysses know there's an obelisk here? Answer, yes. So a whole bunch of units could come flooding in onto this position here, as that's exactly what's happening. We see the Anubite coming in. They see some citizens, or it sees some citizens over there. The double priest walking through here as well. You can get a whole bunch of early game damage done with these early units, as we see the citizen on this gold mine looking very, very scarily open here, as a military barracks getting dropped. The town center just about to be up. Plenty of water buffalo over here for Joe to be eating in the game, and he's going to be super happy about seeing that. This location here, 2 citizen idle. This location here, 2 citizen idle. This location here, finally getting dealt with now with the Oracle heroes, as he's probably going to be getting himself focused as well in the near future to make those Oracles a little bit speedier. See an Anubite coming in to try and take down that Promethean. Just a little jump in there and retreat away, as all of those snakes do end up getting taken down. It might be worth leaving this position right now, as the units are starting to come out. Definitely don't want to be overstaying your welcome and losing your pharaoh here, but we've seen 3 town centers coming through for Joe as a reaction to the early town center of Ulysses. This is something that I actually theory crafted was possibly the way to play against an early second town center for an Atlantean, and it's great to see that my theory crafting might not have been so far off here, as Joe the expert is kind of showing me how it's supposed to go. He's getting himself that necropolis, and the game is going to be continuing on as we see some walls coming down. And the question really is, well, you go on 3 town centers, but then what? As the Anubite is going to just get pushed back here just a little bit. Definitely don't want to be losing that one there, as the villagers happily eating away at those water buffalo at the top here, as a priest and pharaoh coming through to snipe down this oracle. They can go after the Promethean here as well, as we are seeing that that's exactly what's going to have to happen here. The Promethean does get taken down. The Anubite's going to get some good damage done. The pharaoh, the unit of target here, as those priests need to be focused firing as best as they can, as we see the Prometheans getting taken out very quickly there. The pharaoh does go down. The Anubite is going to be following, but the unit's getting some good trade here. A couple of Mermill are getting taken out. The Mermill do actually have to retreat back for the time being, as another one might fall down. But we could see Joe retreating to the corner, healing this Anubite up and seeing what he's going to do. Meanwhile, this Anubite still getting some damage done on the corner over here. 79 HP remaining. 3 town centers now up for Joe. Plenty of food over here, and the pressure is still mounting, as we've already got Joe up to 43 villagers in this game. The priest's going to be healing the Anubite up. Pretty sneaky play there by Joe. And not only that, Joe is taking Ulysses' giraffe away right now. He's going to have to retreat back, and he does see the army coming in, retreating his villagers nice and early. Definitely don't want to be losing any villagers in this game unnecessarily. But the question is going to be, how easily can he defend this location? There's a long wall needed on this position to wall this off, and the units can very easily walk through here. But maybe coming in and walling over here wouldn't be a bad idea, but there is a lion over there. The villager does see how long the wall is and says, I don't care. Let's get this sorted. These villagers on this location are very, very important. We might have to see some, I was going to say we might have to see some farms coming in for Joe, but he doesn't care. He's got cows for days, throwing down the armory, and this is a beautiful start here for Joe in a big way, as Ulysses now says, got to get myself the third town center and try and keep up in this game, as Joe is going to motor ahead. And Ulysses might be asking himself the question, maybe I shouldn't have gone for a 2-town center here. And now, where can Ulysses actually attack? There's no way through this location without taking significant damage by the town center. He might be able to deconstruct the barracks and then walk through or something like that, but he's still going to take a ton of damage here. And Joe can very easily just throw a military building down here, which is exactly what he's going to do. The priest will get caught out on this position, as I believe all of the Anubites have been picked off somewhere, somehow. Yes, they have, and the unit's now going to come around, see the wall on this position, but the wall's up. The Aurochs are going to get, or the water buffalo are going to get eaten out here, and Joe is going through Nephthys, as potentially another wall over here might not be a bad idea. The Anubites are actually back on this position now, as the villagers happily eating or mining up that gold mine. The water buffalo about to be finished. Haven't seen the wall getting thrown up over here just yet. Definitely something that Joe should be considering, as he's now going to start making some axemen out. Slingers, axemen, Nephthys. Plenty of units out for Joe right now as husbandry coming through for Ulysses. Is he still building units at this point is the question. The answer is yes. And he's throwing down an armory. He's going to be able to hit the heroic age very, very soon here, as the villagers are pulling back here. But double Anubite plus the Axeman. There's no heroes here. There might be a Valor that could get thrown down. But this gold mine is not really under threat just yet, as one villager getting caught out just a little bit there. But there's a couple of mercenary, maybe unnecessarily getting created here, coming in to say g'day to these Mermillo. And Joe sneaking around with the rest of his units ready to start fighting here and pushing Ulysses back. There's the Nephthys through. And will we see that Migdol stronghold getting dropped? Thanks so much for the raiding party. Killuminati-og. Appreciate you, my friend, or Killuminati-OG. I should say. Thanks so much for the 3 months, Harrison, as well. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming in and saying g'day, as Ulysses going to be wandering through this position, looking for something to target down. He's not going to be able to find all too much. We even see, bit of a strange wall there, a wall delete there by Joe. He wants to open this position up. Joe actually not opting for a Migdol here, throwing a marker down. He might be looking for an incredibly fast Mythic Age behind all of this, but Hyperion is now on the way. The unit's moving out onto this position, and this is something that might be a little bit unknown to a lot of players, is that the Egyptian classical army against Kronos is 1,000,000 times better than against Uranos, because the units just don't have the speed to dip in and dip out. And what does the classical army really do here? Not a whole lot. So Joe's going to retreat back, but he can definitely continue this fight. Meanwhile, we see Copper Shield's Heart of the Titans coming through as well, as Joe's getting himself medium Axeman, going to be continuing this fight. We do see the Anubites getting taken down. The Scorpion Men going to be attempting to come in onto this position. Those Slingers getting some good damage done. You should be kind of microing them just a little bit onto those Hero Terma in order to take those down, but not really happening just yet, as the Terma are getting taken down nicely. The Mermillo are all getting picked off, as Joe does get a very significant advantage there from that fight. And now Joe's at 80 villagers. He's going to be throwing a market up in the corner, walling this in. There is a cheeky pond in both corners over here to be able to be used for harassment of a market in the later stages of the game, as these villagers searching around for just something in the corner, as the unit's pushing in, and we will be seeing Ulysses retreat back for the time being. But Ulysses is going to be hitting the Mythic Age first, as he does cut units here, and the question is going to be, what is he going for? And it looks like he's going for Atlas. Going to be having the Implode to be chucked down to take down nearly all of these Axemen and Spearmen, and Slingers with one Implode. We will be seeing a Monument to the Soldiers getting chucked up here, as Joe's going to be attempting to hit that Mythic Age as soon as he possibly can here, as the Migdol Stronghold going to get built up. The siege towers hanging around. We see the units moving on to this position, as for some reason Ulysses is thinking like he can attack here, but having not built units for so long, he kind of needs to wait till he gets 145 population to fight. But with this monument here now, he's going to be a little bit unhappy about where he can place his implode, as the Scorpion men coming in onto this position to try and take down some villages. The archer heroes are in here, though, as a couple of citizens actually are getting taken down as they don't garrison there. A little bit of a misstep by Ulysses in a pretty big way there. Irrigation coming through, heavy infantry coming through. Joe with no resources in the bank. Full army of axemen and slingers at this point, as the siege towers coming through as well for Joe. Ulysses now retreating back. He does have himself a palace up over here, so he's making those destroyers. He can switch into fanatics if he wants to, and Joe is going to be pushing in onto this position. So Joe does have to be careful not to cast ancestors early here and then fall victim to an implode, as units are going to push in here. The question is, where is Ulysses going to be able to use his implode as he is rushing down this monument to the soldiers? The units should kind of get some kind of a knowledge about what's happening here, but they're not going to have that. As units do take down the monument to the soldiers, units will start to retreat away. Ulysses is going to pull away himself, dropping down the implode here, as he's going to start pulling those axemen that are retreating away from this position. We do see units pushing in onto this position over here. The siege towers have to retreat. The Pharaoh on this position taking down some citizens as well, as a whole bunch of these infantry units are getting taken down. Osiris does come through now for Joe. Gets himself the son of Osiris. The siege towers pushing in onto this position. We've got 4 citizens inside of this palace right now, as this is the big target, and it's really, really hard for siege towers to take down any kind of buildings that Atlanteans have at this stage in the game, because the citizens just completely annihilate the siege towers. But we are seeing that the ancestors could finish this off here if they so choose. And they will be doing that, but the Son of Osiris does take a little bit of damage as well. As now Joe pushing through onto this position as well. We do have the Argus out. These units kind of getting a little bit confused about where they need to be as they're roaming to their death. And now Joe falls down to 110 of 154 population. He's taken out the palace. No god powers remaining. Ulysses does have some god powers left in the deconstruction and implode and all the other good stuff. He did manage to take out that Migdol stronghold on this position here. There's a gold mine over here for Joe, so Joe's not going to be too concerned about losing this game. It's just whether or not he falls too far behind. And when it does come down to it, at this point now, Joe's got to feel pretty happy. All he has to do is hold for another 5 to 10 minutes, and he should be in a very, very difficult to kill position, as the Son of Osiris does get a little bit caught out there, but utilizing the siege tower's garrison capacity there to kind of deal with that, and he's completely fine. We see the chaos getting thrown down here as this mummy actually manages to kill off an Atlantean unit there, as the Arcus are coming through to try and take down the Son of Osiris. One of the one of the easiest ways to deal with Son of Osiris for Atlantean is Arcus. They've got 20 range. Son of Osiris has got 18 range. So for the Son of Osiris to actually shoot, he's got to kind of shoot from range, and it kind of makes it very hard to control. As Ulysses is continuing the pressure, he's already got himself 13 llama caravans out. And the Son of Osiris has to pull back just a little bit here, as we see the destroyer getting taken down. Joe's got himself 5 siege towers on this position right now, as Ulysses is retreating away, and we'll see what Ulysses has got in store for us. Now, one of the big differences between, say, Uranus and Kronos is the late game. And the fact is that Kronos does have somewhat of a strong late game. All he has to do is get units in, get line of sight, and then start time-shifting stuff onto his opponent's into his opponent's base. So one way to do that is to get yourself what's it called, this upgrade here, signal fires and carrier pigeons, and then you can come in, drop buildings down just outside your opponent's walls, drop buildings down here, and just slowly drop buildings coming into your opponent's base, and then you just go plonk, palace, and live the dream where that's concerned, as Joe's Son of Osiris is still under a lot of pressure here, but he is managing to hold on. However, all that being said, Ulysses' economy is bonkers good here. So he is pushing ahead very, very nicely in this game in order to in order to have a technological advantage against Joe. But I mean, Joe's gotta be happy. 80 villagers, 10 lamb, 10 donkey carrot, or ox. I literally said every camel caravan that it wasn't. 10 camel caravans. So his economy is fine. His economy is going to be great, and he's just got a ridiculous amount of siege towers at this point, which actually is really, really smart in a big way, because one, it protects the Son of Osiris, but two, the Arcus don't. There's no target for the Arcus here, as the Son of Osiris is going to consistently pop in and out over here, try and get a shot, and then jump into the siege tower, and then jump out, and then jump in, and that's going to be Joe's micro here for the next, I don't know, as long as the Son of Osiris is alive, is what he's going to have to do. And Ulysses is just consistently keeping his eye on this, try and take that Son of Osiris down and not allow him too much damage here as the Chariot's coming. Let's check out the difference in damage here. 9 damage for a Champion Arcus, 9.3 for a Chariot Archer. The Chariot Archer costs a little bit more resources, costs 3 population, so and there are obviously going to be more Arcus here for Ulysses. But the problem for Ulysses is, with all of these Arcus, he's got no pushing power, he's got no destroyers, he's got no fire siphon, he's got no Murmillo, he's got no way to push through, and it's going to allow Joe to slowly but surely get those resources up, which he's got now. 600 food in the bank, 1,000 wood, 800 gold, dropping more Migdol strongholds. He does have this monument to the soldiers down to protect his Migdol stronghold from deconstruction. If we take a look, we do have a deconstruction on the way for Ulysses in the near future, as we see these siege towers are just in the front. He's got 9 siege towers here. What are you guys doing in this game? Where are you going? What's happening? Fire siphons coming through. We see some more pallets getting dropped on this front for Ulysses. Whether it's for more fire siphon or for destroyers remains to be seen, as Joe now decides to click Secrets of the Titans. This is a very spicy decision here from Joe. We'll see if it's going to work out for him. Normally spending those resources on, say, champion chariots, full armory upgrades, and just holding is a little bit more of a safe idea. But the Secrets of the Titans, if you can get the Titan out, is going to be incredibly useful, as well as the siege tower is going to be pushing in onto this position, going after the palace. He does have himself 9 siege towers in the palace. I don't think there's equal. There is masons, and there is also the blanket of Empress Zoe. So they're going to be able to tank just a little bit more than they otherwise would, as Citizen are going to be moving forward to try and take these siege towers down. But one palace down, a second palace is surely going to fall here as well, as we do see this Citizen desperately trying to put up another palace over here. And Joe smartly microing this one just a little bit. Don't want to stay too close to that Citizen over here, as the Son of Osiris still getting value here. And he might even be able to pick up that Citizen over here. He does manage to take that one down, as the Citizen pushing in on the front here by Ulysses, trying to take down these siege towers, but might not be too easy to do here, as a forward tower getting dropped down, and irrigation on the way for Joe. He's got champion chariots. We do see the final chaos being dropped here, as the siege towers kind of suiciding into this town, into this palace to try and take this position back for himself. And there we go. The Titan gate does get dropped down for Joe. Now, Joe has been known to do some pretty crazy stuff with his Egyptian in tournaments, things like fast wonders to get wins where he feels like that's the only way for him to get a win. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him do that. It is supremacy. Wonders are a valid victory condition and a part of the game and a part of balance. So we'll see if that's what Joe's going to be going for or not here, as the Son of Osiris is going to try and shoot away from behind. One Migdol stronghold does fall on this position, as the Son of Osiris is going to be retreating back. Migdol stronghold over here going to be getting thrown up as well, as Joe's going to need to get that down. Joe's got plenty of resources in the bank, maybe not as much food as he might like here, in order to make the Spearmen to deal with these heavy Contaris. But it's a really, really nice tech switch that is kind of coming through for Ulysses. One easy way to defend against Contaris without the need for mass food is just building crenellation towers for a little bit. So we'll see how it's going to go here. The Fire Siphon are taking down this Migdol stronghold very, very fast. Son of Osiris very nicely getting juked, dropped in and out. We see that the Fire Siphon does go down, but too little too late. As the Mingdol Stronghold goes down as well, as Ulysses is going to try and push in onto this position. Ulysses with not enough resources to get himself his own Titan out. So Joe's Titan is going to be able to be an absolute menace in this game. As I say that, Ulysses somehow able to research the secrets of the Titans. He just managed to catch a moment there where he probably had it already queued up when I said that. But with Secrets of the Titans coming in this far, like this slow, I think that Joe's Titan is probably going to be able to get across the map and prevent Ulysses' Titan from coming out. So Ulysses has to be very careful about whether or not he decides to click Titan Gate here or not, because Joe's going to be going for it. He does have only 20 villagers on the Titan Gate, which isn't a whole lot. Sometimes if you want to rush your Titan out as fast as possible, 30 villagers is a good idea. But just 20, maybe there's a chance here for Ulysses to get his own Titan out. He still has to wait another 30 seconds to cast that one down, as the chariot archers are unable to make any ground here in the middle of the map. Ulysses is actually 140 of 160 population, so Joe is trading very, very nicely here. His Son of Osiris still alive at 45 HP. Spearman coming in, but no. Oh, we do see Heavy Spearman, New Kingdom coming through as well, as this market desperately in need of a pharaoh to empower it. As the game continuing along here, Destroyers coming through. We've got Fanatics, Destroyers, Gontarius, Arcus for Ulysses, just basically pure chariots and a handful of medium spearmen for Joe. That also does mean that Joe's got no pushing power here, but he can take down the units fairly easily, as now we're starting to see some side builds coming through for Ulysses. And I get confused when I see this, because you can just build one unit to run around and just build the buildings in your base while you kind of time shifting stuff. And now we see 80% Titan Gate coming down for Ulysses. This is very, very tense right now. Ulysses is going to try and shoot this up as fast as he possibly can. And Joe's best bet is to go, he has to make a real quick judgment call about whether or not sending his own Titan into Ulysses' base here. Is he going to make it or not? And that's everything here. Because right now, Joe's got not enough resources in the bank really to support his spam in this game. He's run out of gold, so he's pushing forward to grab this gold mine over here. He does have a gold mine over here that is safe for the time being, so he does have to be a little bit careful about that. We're seeing Titan Shield getting researched by Ulysses as well to help out his buildings just a little bit. Now, we got 22% of the way through and the Titan coming out. Quick question, you got to tell me right now in this instant, would you go for the Titan Gate or not with this Titan at this point? That's the question, and let me know what the answer is. And we'll see if you're right or not. As now we see the Titan wandering forward. He's going to get path blocked by his own camel caravans, which is a little bit ironic in a way, as we see the Titan stampeding forward here in this game. We've got some mercenary cavalry helping out on the front. As is always, when you're going for Titan as Atlantean, your economy gets incredibly stifled because you have so many citizens on this one. We got 11 plus 3 hero citizen over here. Another citizen coming through as well. 55%. We've got the Titan nearly halfway across the map. It's going to be very, very close here for very, very close here for Joe to get over onto that Titan Gate, as he is still marching forward, getting path blocked a little bit. He's going to take the buildings down and decide to not go for the Titan here. Instead, smartly decides to just go for the palace in the middle of the map. Definitely was not a possibility there to get onto this Titan Gate, and Ulysses will have a Titan out, but will he be able to deal with, well, A, the Son of Osiris that is here, and B, no, never mind, the Son of Osiris getting killed off by Palace here. Nice micro from Ulysses. Good awareness, as the Son of Osiris does end up going down. It's a big ticket unit taken out. The Titan nearly down 100 HP as it's pushing through here. Just about to pop out for Ulysses, and we will see the Titan fight coming through in the near future here as Joe marching in onto this position. One really key way to use your Titan is actually to try and pick off enemy units, because it does one bang a whole bunch of units in the real sense, because there's like 8 Arcus here and you can one hit that Arcus. As we are seeing the Titan now coming forward for Ulysses, it's not going to be early enough to stop this town center from going down, it would seem, but I imagine that Joe will have to retreat here if he wants to be safe. He's going to stamp the ground twice, decide, yep, pull back just a little bit here, not able to take the town center down, and he does have to turn around here. So Ulysses Titan wins this one in a landslide, but the town center does end up going down. Not only that, we do have 7 Arcus heroes coming in onto this position to help out, but we do also have 3 siege towers. And what helps out more? That's an interesting question there as well. The 3 siege towers shooting 3 arrows plus 2 in crush damage, so they're doing a minimum of 2 damage a second, or 6 damage a second, whereas the Arcus do get the bonus damage, but let's be real, they're probably only doing 2 damage a second each themselves, so it's very, very close. We've got some priests coming in to help out as well, as it does look like the Ulysses Titan is going to win here very, very easily. 800 HP remaining, 500 HP remaining here, but the question really comes, the big question really comes in is how much is this Titan really going to be able to do? Is the town center going to be coming back up for Ulysses here? And the siege tower is getting the damage done, 400 HP remaining, as the Titan is going to be moving forward, trying to take down some of these units as best as they can. We see the siege tower going to be trying to deny this town center for as long as it possibly can, as the Titan is slowly but surely coming down in this game. We didn't see Hecate in this game because it is Kronos, so you cannot get Mythic Rejuvenation for this Titan. Has no HP to come back with, and now Joe has got a significant advantage in this game, and in classic Joe fashion, the towers begin. If you guys want to learn a little bit about Joe's game plan and Joe's way of converting strong advantages, it is this. You look at where he places his towers when he's got an advantage. It's always roughly a screen length away from the town center first, and then he goes in with the closer towers. That way he's got a retreat path just in case his opponent can do something here. And then we are seeing some towers coming up for Ulysses to try and hold on to this position. Ulysses got some resources in the bank. We see iron weapons coming through as well, as the units pushing forward to try and pick off those citizens as best as they can here. The citizen getting pulled back into the palace, no problems there, as the siege tower going to be taking down this forward barracks over here as well. Got some units coming over here. Ulysses might be going for his side build onto this town center. There is room over here to drop a palace, like with the time shift. If you can send a destroyer in to tank the archer fire palace drop, that would be a way to do that there. As the military barracks coming down, we've got some catapults here, more towers coming up. Guard towers and crenellations, I'm sure, have been researched, as well as masons here. So all of the upgrades through for Joe, as more towers getting dropped. We see the military barracks going down on this location and this location. The town center about to be opened up. Champion Axeman in here to deal with the heavy destroyers of Ulysses, as well as the military barracks does end up going down. Baluster tower as well to boot coming through for Joe. So his economy is absolutely ginormous in this game, as the town center is going to be attempting to get thrown up. People with 2 catapults here, it's never going to go up. Joe will not allow that in the slightest. A fire siphon coming in onto this position here, as you do see a guard tower getting dropped. Question is, will Joe spot this or not? This is a very desperation fire siphon, very sneaky. And I'm sure that Joe's going to be checking things out, as we do see a watchtower getting dropped in onto this position, finally using some of those time shifts to be a little bit aggressive. And we see engineers coming through. Joe not paying attention. His village are going to be moving back over here onto this siege workshop. As the unit's pushing forward here, Joe sees victory in his grasps, but he needs to be careful not to throw the game here by losing his own town center, as another tower getting thrown down on this position. The villager does move forward here, but walks straight by the fire siphon, as the fire siphon are continuing to take this town center down. It's getting closer and closer to its demise. Joe, what are you doing? It's been nearly 30 seconds here of fire siphon killing you, as he finally notices it. Mercenary cavalry getting built instead of mercenary infantry to try and keep this one up. The village is getting pulled back, as the town center is going to be getting taken down here. Incredibly strong play here from Ulysses, catching Joe by surprise to take the town center down, but is it going to be enough is the question, as Joe's tower spam is on full display. He's got himself already 5 towers over here. He's dropped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 towers on the front. And Ulysses is going to try and get in over here. Dropping a palace with time shift, if Ulysses can afford it, which he can at this point, would be a really, really big play here to push in. There's no towers or anymore that can really stop this one. The fire siphon coming back in onto this position to try and deny the town center. We see a pharaoh coming in. We've got nice armory getting dropped over here to block that fire siphon just a little bit, as the mercenary cavalry coming in to take these fire siphon down, as the town center looks like it will just barely get up here. And that's got to be heartbreaking for Ulysses after the beautiful side play there. Not able to deny that town center in this game. And now Joe's pushing forward. He's catapulted, taking down the watchtowers in the back here. Towers still coming up on the front, as it looks like Ulysses does decide to give up in that moment. GG, well played by Joe. An incredibly strong reaction in the early game here from Joe, scouting out the second town center getting snuck or getting built in the arcade cage, immediately saying, all right, I'm going to grab myself 3 town centers behind this. Going to cast Prosperity, 1 town center, 2 town center, and say, thank you very much. I'm going to boom and I'm going to take this game late game somewhat here. And he did just that. He goes for the Titan. His Titan manages to take down the town center before Ulysses' Titan arrives. He does lose the Titan fight by about 500 HP, but it is completely worth it, as then Joe's spammage of towers can come in, maintain this position. He did kind of slip up just a little bit, but it didn't matter enough, as Ulysses was not able to keep the town center from going back up. And that means that Joe can very comfortably take this game with a huge population advantage. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.